Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Voorhees Tiger Vision show. I am your host, Madre Allen. I'm here with the head coach, Coach Cabral Huff. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, man. That time is near, so you can already imagine how amped I am right now.
It is. It is. It seemed like at first it was so far away, and now here it is, right up on us.
It's here. It's here.
Which brings the beginning of basketball season for you guys now.
Man, it's just like you said, when we started this process, it seemed like it was so far away, and now to realize that in just 3 short days, those guys are getting on campus, and we're revving that thing up with our first practice.
Yeah, for sure. Before I get into all of my questions, I have a lot. So,
all right.
But let's start here, man. How are you feeling? All the work that you've been putting in, the days, the nights in the gym, the days, the nights in the office, all leading to this moment of being able to officially kick off and be with your guys. How are you feeling right now?
I'm excited. I am. I'm ready to get on the floor. I'm ready to get our guys there. I'm ready to put all the ideas, the things that we've talked about on Zooms as a team. I'm ready to see all that be put into fruition, and how we put this team together and how we expect this team to go. Ready to see all that take place on the floor with the returning guys who are really good and the guys that we brought in. So all that is just like, this is like my Christmas. Sunday will be Christmas. It will be Christmas Eve for me. My gift is walking into that gym and being able to see my guys and having practice and being able to now have that relationship with them more than just text, phone calls, and Zoom and our group me. So I'm really excited, man. Obviously, it's still a season of flexibility and adaptability. Our job is to get this season going and make sure we get it off to the right start with practice as we lead in the games. But we're still going to have to be flexible. Our players, myself, my staff, everybody, we're just going to have to be flexible and adaptable to what may come. I mean, we're seeing a lot of it right now, whether it's college basketball, college football. But, we're going to try to make sure we get to that finish line. And we're going to bust our butt to not be outworked. If any of my guys know me, just like you know me, we may get beat, but it won't be because we got outworked.
Speaking of not being outworked, just a question. I just got to know, how many practices do you have fully mapped out already?
The whole first week. And then I can go back and change, like, all right, I saw this, I want to change this, or but I've got it mapped out. Like Sunday, I'm really gonna really put it, because I've got it mapped out, but I'm gonna really put it, like, nail it in the coffin and say, all right, this is what we do first day. A lot of people gonna take this Sunday and they're gonna be watching that last week of football. Nah, man, I'm gonna be diving in. Yeah.
So I set my over under at like 10 full practices. I know he's got it in his head mapped out down to the drill of everything that's going to be done.
I've got stuff in my phone about stuff I want to do in practice. I think I was showing my former assistant Mario Mays. He was like, "Huff, man, you got to just send me some of that stuff, man." Like,
hey, man. It's going to be a great time. I know you're excited. I know the team is excited to be able to get on campus. Let's talk a little bit about some of the preparation that's gone into getting to this moment. We know you guys are taking a lot of extra precaution when it comes to COVID-19. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I really commend our president, Dr. W. Franklin Evans, and our AD, Ms. Shirlene Johnson, about how we have really stepped up and done our COVID protocol. So our guys, they had to get a negative COVID test within 7 to 10 days of them returning to campus. They're going to get another test when they arrive. And those are the two biggest things. We're putting we're only bringing our athletes back to start off, and some select, freshmen and transfers. So we'll probably only have about 300 students on campus total. Our athletic teams will have their own dorms and be in their individual rooms. Not even if it's a suite style dorm, like for our upperclassmen get them, they'll still be if they have a suite, it'll just be them in a suite. And that'll help us really, if we have, someone that does unfortunately come down with COVID-19, then that'll help us if that happens. We have a specific dorm on campus. If we have to isolate any individual that we can put them to, but we can still render services to them. So I think we've done a really good job. We're going to test every week and before and after every game, whether it's a home game or when we get back from the road. And, every time they walk out their dorm room, they're going to get temperature checked. It's a different time. Everybody likes to go to college campuses and they have some freedom. Well, this won't be the year of freedom. And I've told my guys that, they're going to be really strict curfews. Obviously basketball teams have them anyway, but I mean really strict curfews that the college is placing on, and there's no visitation. So you can't bring anybody in, and you've got to make sure that they have to know if you're leaving campus. It's just different. They're different times, but I think these protocols are really going to keep us safe and help us try to get through this season.
Hey, listen, we saw what was successful.
Right.
When it comes to the NBA, having a bubble, keeping everybody, distant, but once you are test negative, they could mingle within the bubble, right? But keeping them in that space and keeping people outside of the bubble, and it really worked, right? Zero, right. I think, after they got in the bubble, positive test in the NBA. So I think it's very, very, very important. I know some people may believe that, hey, maybe this is overboard, maybe this or that, but we just had the young man from University of Florida come down with an issue, collapse during a basketball game, and the heart inflammation that he was diagnosed with, they believe came from having COVID-19 previously. So I think it's very, very important. And I commend Voorhees College for all the steps that you guys are taking.
I mean, it's just I have some people have asked, how do I feel about us not playing right now? And I've already said, it's given me the opportunity to really get to know my guys. But also, I think it's really given us the opportunity to really set some great parameters in place to keep us safe and try to make sure that we do get through a season. For instance, when those guys come in to move in on Monday, they'll only be able to bring 2 of their family members or whoever's coming with them. I mean, you know how it is when you go move on campus. Sometimes people trying to bring 10 people. Well, that's just not happening this year. And then the 2 people that you bring, we're going to be temperature checking them and making sure they only stay with who they're coming with, because every person had an actual time they had to sign up to come move in, no matter who it was. So, for instance, on Monday, the 4th, it's only women and men's basketball who are moving in. And then on the 5th is baseball and track. So we've got some real parameters set up of how we're doing this thing.
Good. Like I said, commend you guys. I think that's very, not just a noble thing to do. At this point in time, it shouldn't just be a noble thing to do, right? It's about doing the right thing to protect your students and protect the student athletes and the faculty and staff as well. So,
and let me add to that, all the faculty and staff, when they come back on January 4th, they're getting tested as well. So it's not just our student athletes, it's everybody, and if you don't test negative, you can't go to your office, So
makes sense.
It is what it is. And I think, being out, obviously recruiting during this holiday time, I've had, you talk with other coaches that are out and you talk about their procedures, and a lot of them are saying, man, I wish we didn't have everybody coming back on campus in such and such time. And I wish we had went virtual the whole time, first semester. A lot of teams are going back right now, and their guys are still in those suite styles. So it's maybe 4 in a dorm. So they're only able to practice with those 4 guys for the first couple of days until they know everybody is good to go.
Yeah, we're seeing the impacts all over. We definitely are. I mean, even almighty college football has a lot of cancellations, a lot of move games, a lot of games that weren't just about getting rescheduled. A lot of games that didn't happen
Right.
because of this. So I'm glad that you guys are paying attention, and shout out to everybody that is out here or anybody that is impacted or suffering from COVID-19. So we are with you. Our thoughts are with you. Keep fighting. And
we've got some of our team, our players who have dealt with it within their families, and just keep praying for them, making sure their family is okay. Those are some of the things that we as coaches have to realize we're dealing with right now. It never has just been about basketball for me, but I hope for every other coach that is coaching these young men or young women that they understand that it's bigger than basketball right now. We've got to take time to really build that relationship and understand that sometimes they may hit that court when we start in January, and they may be thinking about mom and dad who may have just got hit with diagnosed with COVID.
Yep.
But if you don't have that relationship with them, you'll never know why that kid isn't practicing the way he or she normally is.
Yep. I just saw a university shut down for a week or 2 weeks or something for mental health time.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback on what you just said, not planning to even speak about any of this.
Right.
One of my former players that play AAU for me just found out that right around the Christmas holiday, his mom was placed in ICU.
Wow.
Due to COVID. She's a teacher here in the Powder Springs area, right in Georgia, in the Hillgrove district. So the area that she's in. But yeah, she is still in ICU right now. A amazing teacher. Has won like Teacher of the Year, one of those awards they give Teacher of the Year with the special parking spot. Has won multiple times, right? A fantastic elementary school teacher, but currently in the ICU due to COVID-19. So very serious. And like you said, you never know when one of your players is going through that. They may need a day. You know what I mean? Sometimes being around the guys, being at practice is going to be helpful. Sometimes they're just not going to be able to have that focus and intensity like they're supposed to because the mind is, and the heart, not only just the mind, but the heart is somewhere else in that. So great to know and great to take those precautions to make it safe.
Yeah.
Have you guys made decisions about fans at all during the game, or is it going to be?
Right now, we're thinking that we're going to allow, a certain amount of fans in. Definitely going to allow parents, but a certain amount that we're going to allow in. I think we're going to kind of determine that again once we get there to understand what we want to do, and we'll kind of go from there.
Gotcha. Love to see. This is a great opportunity for student athletes to support other student athletes in a time where the normal fan base wouldn't be there for, the men's basketball to go to the girls' games, for the track guys to come to the basketball games and vice versa, to really be able to build that camaraderie on campus. I think it could be a valuable time to do that.
Yeah, and I think at Voorhees, that was done anyway a lot. Our baseball team was always at games. So another chance for them because it won't be everybody on campus. So they'll get a chance to really come and watch, the different events that are going on, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball.
For sure. Dr. Love, wishing you the best. For you.
Appreciate it, man. Ready to get this thing rolling, Dr. Love.
Let's talk about as we open the season, some things that people can expect to see. We'll get into the schedule here in just a little bit, but do you want to talk about the current roster a little bit? I think maybe people may get confused because we talk about a mix of recruits that are coming in for the 2020 versus 21 class. But let's talk about some of the guys that's on the roster for this season that people can expect to see play.
I mean, obviously, we've got two of the best shooting guards that are coming back with us who can really shoot the three ball very well. In Terrell Wyndham and Taiwan Bowie. Really excited to have those guys back. We get a chance to get Bryce Williams, Staten Levine, and really Ferguson back to us. Those are our 4s and 5s, and Jarvis Martin, who are really big that can bring us a lot of size, between 6'5" and 6'7", but they also can step out and do some things for us. So getting a chance to get guys like that back on the court for us are really big, along with two recruits that Coach Mitchell had already signed, and Zach White, who's from Tallahassee, Florida, played at Rickards High School, won a state championship down there. And if you know anything about Rickards and Tallahassee, they can go.
Big time basketball right there.
So 6'2" guard there, and then also a Marion Bird out the North Augusta, right down the road from us. Had a great season at North Augusta, so great chance to get him on board as well. Another shooter that can really shoot that basketball. If you saw him in high school, you definitely know that.
Awesome. Are you able to get? Are going to be able to get some of the guys that were transferring or on campus, and are those guys going to make it safe on campus?
They are. So that was a big part of what we were doing between November and right now, is making sure transcripts, everything was in, and then we're able to get those guys on campus.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it. Definitely some guys I think currently on the roster that can definitely help you get wins. Guys that were coming in, some of those transfers I think are going to be big in helping you guys get some wins and establish that culture from day one.
And I think being able to get those guys that we were able to get on campus, those transfers guys and new guys that we added, I think that's going to really help us because they fit the culture of what we're trying to do. We want to be versatile. We want to be athletic. We want to be able to score in multiple ways. And we want, length, and we want athleticism. And the guys that we're able to bring in along with the guys that we have, I think those guys are going to mesh very well. And I think you can pull up that comment from James Williams about how we plan to mesh those returners with the new talent coming in. Well, that started day one. Once those guys were committed to coming to us, to get to us in January, they began being on our Zooms right away. They began being in our group chats right away. And we were having real discussions, James, about, how do they interpret, or how do they like being talked to as a teammate when things aren't going well? Because it's all good when things are going, or when things aren't going well. It's all good when things are going well. So those little things have been really instrumental in helping our team, our guys mesh together so far. I mean, obviously, getting on the practice floor, they're going to have to mess with each other. But I really like the energy that our guys have had around our new guys and our old guys. It doesn't even seem like they're new guys and old guys, to be honest with you. It just seems like we're just one big Tiger family, and that's the way we really want it.
For sure. I think this season is going to be big. We know the ultimate goal is to find yourself in that NAIA tournament at the end of the season, to find yourself right there with a chance to do what every team in the tournament wants to do, right? Is to run the table, win it all, and bring home a championship, right? But talk to us, Coach, about a little bit about the smaller goals, bit by bit, and what it's going to take to find yourself with that opportunity to win it all at the end of the season.
Number one, we just got to, again, we started off this show talking about we can't be outworked. I mean, we've got to come in with a chip on our shoulder, number one, because there have been some NAIA teams that have been playing already. So we just cannot be outworked at any point. So that's going to be the first start of it. We got to understand how important every possession is. So that's going to come in practice. Us understanding, not turning the ball over, offensive execution, our pace of play. Probably the biggest thing that I have a concern about us coming in, and I've told our guys, they've got to come in the best shape that they need to be, is that what kind of shape are they going to be in by not having been on campus so far? So those are some big things that we are going to really kind of hound in on, as well as making sure they understand what it takes to win. They've won so far, but I want them to understand that winning is 1% better every day. And we've got to make sure that we do that every day, whether it's practice, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's being a great teammate. Those things matter.
100%. Talk to us about this, Coach. I found this really moving here.
Like I said, we won't be outworked, so we've got to be humble enough to prepare and confident enough to perform. And that just means we're going to put in the work to prepare every day in practice. We're going to put in the work in films. We're going to put in the work in weights. But that's going to give us the confidence to perform the way we need to perform. We're going to step out on the court every game with the mindset that we're going to win that game. I don't care what they're ranked. I don't care how many games they play. I don't care where we play. And that's going to be every time we step on the court, whether it's now in 2021, when that comes in January, or whether that's 3 years or 4 years from now, when we're playing a Division I team, when those opportunities come. We're going to expect to win every game. I don't think you can go into any game or any season not expecting to win. And those are the kind of guys that we want. I recruit guys that I tell them off the rip and say, if you're looking for a big city or if you're looking for a fancy gym, then we probably need to stop talking. But if we're looking for an opportunity to win, develop, and get better on and off the court, then Voorhees College is a place for you to be in little old Denmark, South Carolina.
Absolutely. Coach, I feel like that speech has definitely worked for you because not only have you been able to, number one, one thing that coaches don't get credit for is the new coach coming in. Recruiting starts with the players that you have already in the program.
Fact.
So let's start giving credit where it's due. You've done a great job out on the road, but keeping players there that were already important to the program at Voorhees and happy. So you've been able to do that. Add on to an incoming class. Add on to this 2020 class or 2020-2021 class of guys that are going to play this year. But you've also been able to add some guys that will be coming in next year, and you've been able to get a few commitments and go out and watch those guys play. How are some of those guys progressing as far as the guys that have committed to you already?
Man, they're doing well, whether we're talking about Ja'Cory Crosby, who's down in Bamberg in South Carolina. I think they unfortunately took their first loss here yesterday or the day before, but he's been playing really well. The other night he had, like 27. Really excited to get him and the legacy that he brings to Voorhees, having some of his family members that have graduated from there. So him and his team have been playing very well. And then you get to, Keyshawn Fleeton, who's at Pacelli High School in Columbus, Georgia. They just took down a perennial, contender every year in Douglas County today, where he was the leading scorer the past 2 days, the past 2 times they played. So he's played really well. I mean, I think you got a chance to see him a little bit at the Tournament of Champions. And then you talk about, Christian Ford down at East Paulding. Got a chance to see him yesterday down in LaGrange, Georgia. And, I think he, again, almost flirted with a triple-double, just doing things to help his team win. Once again, those 3 guys that we got coming in 2021, that 2021 class, have really been special because they're not just great basketball players, they're great people and great teammates. And every time I watch them, those are the things that I see, how they talk and react to their teammates, how they're pushing them to be better, how they're pulling them up even when something good doesn't happen. But the other thing that I really love about those 3 guys is their vision. Their court vision is very good. And I think that's one of the skills that a lot of times we don't talk about is seeing the floor. And that's going to be really important for us because how fast we want to play, pitching the ball ahead, making the right basketball decision, how we're able to read ball screens. And those 3 guys want to get down and defend as well. So I think that's what's really helps with those 3 guys so far.
For sure. Are you having any conversation with those guys about things that they need to work on and get better? Not necessarily, you don't have to break down personally what you're telling each guy. Right. With some overarching themes of things that you may be saying, hey, you want to be ready for next year. You probably want to try to work on this or address this.
It's funny because each one of those guys will tell you after any game I've seen them play, I'm probably breaking it down probably more than they thought I would and giving them a lot of tidbits, whether it's good or things they need to improve upon. Just yesterday I was telling Christian, I just leave this out. I was telling him how I wanted him to attack the ball screen when they were hedging him. He was kind of just stopping it and letting them hedge him to throw the pass. And that's going to work in high school. But you got to take that retreat dribble to either allow the hedge to keep coming. So now it makes an easier pass for you to try to hit the big who's rolling, or you allow the hedge to leave you. Now you can turn the corner after you took those retreat dribbles and really attack the rim. So those are just little nuances that I'm trying to get them to work on, and always telling them that motor. They got to have that motor. I mean, every game I'm probably saying you got to sprint the floor every time. Every time you got to splinter for on offense, because if you don't have the ball and we're pushing it, then you've got to get to the corner, or making sure your motor is 110% all the time. Because those are things that have nothing to do with your skill level. Those are things that are going to really impact, especially how hard we want to play and the style that we want to play at Voorhees.
Hey, listen, playing hard. I don't think that playing hard used to be a skill, but I've been telling kids here lately, playing hard is a skill.
It is.
Because it's something that helps you stand out on the floor, and it's one of those things to help your team win. You would think every kid is out there playing hard, but some kids just don't understand how to play hard.
And I think those guys are going to understand. One of the big things we talked about, what greater job Coach Derek Mitchell did here at Voorhees.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to come in here and not play hard. Because when you practice with those guys who've already been here, you're going to get your teeth knocked in if you don't come play hard. And they're not going to let you walk in the gym and not play hard.
For sure. Have you guys had to make, I'm assuming since no games have been played yet, that you guys haven't had to make any changes to your schedule, but just to update, have you had to make any changes, adjustments to the schedule at all so far?
That's a daily thing, to be honest, Mondre. Like,
okay,
we're going to talk about the schedule right now, and we've been blessed that, knock on wood, that's probably been kind of set in stone for at least about a couple of weeks. So as you see here in January, we start off with our scrimmage versus South Carolina Faith A&M on January 7th. And then we get right into it. We got to face Coach Mo in Middle Georgia State. They make the trip up to Voorhees. And then we all know, Dalton State is good. He's my buddy, Coach Ireland, but they're good. They won 30 games last year. They're good. And Talladega, another really good program. Edward Waters, we got them twice. And then, that's a rivalry game with Allen University. Even though they've moved up to the D2 level now, that's a rivalry game. And we've got to bring it. That's not an easy schedule. Though there are no cupcakes on that schedule for you to say, oh, we can pick up an easy win. We don't have to play hard. You're gonna have to bring it. But that's what we're here for. And because of COVID, you don't get a chance, especially with playing in January, to ease into this thing. Now you got to come right out into
it. What do you think the adjustment is gonna be like? I kind of have it in my head of what I'm prepared to see some of these guys at that first practice understanding. But see, a lot of people say that they want to play fast.
Mm-hmm.
You get teams to play fast, but I feel like you practice even faster. Well, I'm waiting to see the looks on some of the guys' faces. 20 minutes, 35 minutes into that first practice, and once the pace of what that is going to be like kind of hits them.
Understanding how we move from drill to drill, understanding the pace of how we do things, understanding that I don't care if it's a shooting drill, I don't care if it's a shell drill, that there's a winner and loser in everything. And if you lose, there's a consequence. But it prepares them. And so it's going to be different, of how we practice. For some, I've been lucky that I've got a couple of former players that are coming onto the roster, so they can kind of talk them through it and say, hey, you got to get ready, and this is what he's looking for in this, and you better come compete. But I think it may be a little culture shock as far as that. But what I'm excited about is when we do our defensive stuff, because I know how good they were defensively, how they're going to bring that energy defensively to our defensive drills. So it's a combination of things of what I'm waiting to see, how they're going to do it, and how they're going to bring their nuances to practice.
There will be one kid for sure that knows what those towels are for that are sitting in the corner of the gym.
Oh, it's not even towels anymore, Mondre. I've moved up thanks to my former coach and my former assistant, Antoine Stroud. They're called weighted jump ropes. And
all those Stroud had some of those. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, hey, guys, compete hard. Compete hard and you'll be fine. Compete hard, you'll be fine every play. Because those, I saw the weighted jump ropes at Stroud's practice. That was interesting. Have the garbage can ready just in case.
Tori has been one of my assistants, so he understands.
For sure. Let's take a look at that February schedule, Coach. I feel like you schedule hard every year, but this year,
Obviously we play Carolina University, great program there, up in Winston-Salem, and then we have a couple of exhibitions. A lot of people know that Denmark Tech is right across the street from us, so getting a chance to showcase what we have in Denmark, South Carolina, is the reason why we're playing those games, and for both teams to get better. And then we've got to make that trip to Middle Georgia, and face Coach Mo again, and then we get to go to Miami, and Florida National took South Florida to the buzzer in the beginning of the season for South Florida. So we got a chance to go face them. We get Talladega again, and we go face Carver Bible, who's played about 15 Division I schools already. And then we get Allen again for our senior night, and we finish up in Denmark versus Carolina University. So it's compacted because of COVID, and it feels like once we really get into it, it almost feels like every other day you're playing a game. It's not, but it feels like that. But I think we're going to be ready to play. I think you're going to see our team grow from when you see us January 7th to when you see us February 24th. I think you're going to see a team that's going to continually get better. I think you're going to see a team that's going to be really good on the defensive end as they've always been. But we're going to be really good on the offensive end as well, with what we're going to be able to do.
For sure. That I have the Carver game circle. You guys will be up here in Atlanta. We'll get a chance to see you. What is that day going to be like? Are you already thinking about coaching a game that's a homecoming game? We always talk about homecoming games for players, but that's a homecoming game for you. What is that going to be like? Your first game as a head college coach?
Well, I'm already calling out some of those Voorhees Atlanta alumni. We've got a lot of basketball alumni that are here in Atlanta to come out, especially if they're able to, and make it our home crowd, to make it our home venue. But it really would be special to be home and to be able to play Carver Bible during that time. And we've got some Atlanta guys on our roster, obviously, so it will be kind of a homecoming. And it's just another game, though. We can't make it anything different. That game is just as important as the January 7th game, just as important as the February 24th game. But definitely, one of my biggest things in recruiting is always getting my guys an opportunity to go back home to where they are so their families can see them play. So we've been lucky this year that some of my guys that are from the Atlanta area will get that opportunity this year.
Amazing. That's great. Got another question. With you being new in conference, how do you handle scouting and adjustments with the shifts in the schedule?
The big thing, James, is that so far, some of these guys are already playing. So being able to scout them early has helped. And obviously you'll scout them more with games closer to when you play them, to the more recent time, what you'll see recently, how their team's performing. So I think you have to handle it that way. I think it goes back to that other picture that we put up, humble enough to prepare. So we've got to be prepared in every way with how we're scouting these guys and what we're looking for, and the things that they're able to do and how we're going to stop them, how we can exploit the things that we want to do on our end. And I think it's just going to be an adjustment. With COVID, we've seen it where guys are scheduled to play one team and they get COVID and they have a totally different team either the same day or the next day. We've just got to be flexible. And I think now that is where, having been a high school head coach, you get that sometimes where, you may go to a tournament, a Christmas tournament, and you see them the game before you play the day before and you got to play them the next day. And that's all you get. And you got to kind of roll with it on the fly. So I think that will actually be a help for me if we get to that actual experience where we have to do some adjustments in the schedule. I know NAIA has done some adjustments on their end where, you just have to play a maximum of 10 games to get to the tournament. It's funny that they're able to do that, but the NCAA hasn't done that for Division I to get them a maximum number of games. But that's for another day right there, Andre.
For sure. So, Coach, we are Oh, I don't want to miss this. This is very important. On our last episode, there were questions about how to donate money to the school, and you answered those questions, and then out of nowhere, here comes a record-setting gift. I won't say that we had anything to do with it, Coach. I'm just gonna say that maybe it was a little convenient that we discussed it, and now there's a gift. But I'll say that in jest. But let's talk about that because that's really big news.
I mean, a record-setting gift. $5 million was given to the school. That this philanthropist gave it to a lot of HBCUs, different amounts, whatever was needed. And I think, what can you say about that? But be thankful and grateful for the blessing that we were able to receive that, along with, we did a day of giving December 1st, and we raised over $1 million there. I mean, so the blessings that we've been able to receive financially are really big. Not that we were in trouble financially, but you know what these things can do. Just as we can put it out there, some of the things that are going on right now is a new weight room in the gym. Before we left for break, they were taking up the floor in the dance studio so they could to build a new weight room in there. We've got new scoreboards coming for the gym. So all my Voorhees alumni, you've been to some great Division I arenas, maybe South Carolina, maybe Clemson, maybe you went down to College of Charleston and seen those scoreboards that give you the number, it gives you the foul, it gives you how many points the player has.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's gonna be in little old Denmark, South Carolina now. And that's kind of some of the things that those gifts have been able to do for us. A brand new 28-seater charter bus for us to travel in, even though we had some, but that's another one that gives us another way to travel. Those are things that are really big for programs like Voorhees and all the programs that philanthropist gave money, that she gave money to.
For sure. Again, I won't take credit for it. It was a coincidence. But no, that's awesome. We love to see that. And keep it coming. Guys, I don't want to highlight that and make people think that, oh, you have to give something in the hundreds of thousands or even the thousands to make a huge difference. $20.
It's just like I said, Mondre, if an alumni gives $20 a month, what does that add up to? And what that could do for a program if you get 20 people to do that, if you now get 100 people to do that. And that's part of my job. And that's also what I'll be doing is making sure that alumni know that they're welcome back to Denmark. Obviously people know homecoming is big down there. And so when we get, knock on wood and prayerful that we get past COVID, when we get to homecoming next year, that's our opportunity to really showcase what we have. And instead of just showcasing and saying, well, we don't have what all these other programs have. Well, let's change that. And how do we change it? We've got to put our money where our mouth is. And that doesn't mean you have to write $1 million check. It means $20, like we talked about.
For sure. Doing that consistently, it's the difference maker. And I say that coming from someone who has seen that firsthand, right? Growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, University of Louisville being the program that I love. People think about historic basketball and that sort of thing. But I also remember the university, because of financial situations, because the program wasn't performing well, on the brink of getting rid of football altogether. We were losing football altogether. In comes a motivated athletic director, starts to raise the money, energizes the base and starts to raise that money. And before you know it, University of Louisville is in the Orange Bowl playing Florida.
Right.
Right. It can happen. New facilities getting built, drive through the campus of the University of Louisville. And it's like, it's something like, at this point you've never seen, but it starts from that alumni base, making that commitment to give whatever they have, even if it's small. The consistency of it means the world, and it makes a big difference for the program.
And let me not discount, again, our president, Dr. W. Franklin Evans, who has a vision, and it all starts with a vision of what you're trying to do. I mean, I would want to see how many other colleges or universities were able to renovate their dorm rooms during COVID.
For sure.
That was done at Voorhees.
Huge.
Other than the newest dorms that we had, but those freshman dorms and the older dorms, to renovate them, hardwood floors, new paint, all that kind of thing. Those things matter, and like I said, it's a blessing that we were able to get those things done. And that was even before the last two, great financial blessings that we had.
Makes a big difference. Leadership means everything. I think we've learned that in 2020. If we didn't learn anything, right. Leadership and who's in charge means everything. As far as where we're going. Coach, before we end today, we know everybody listening is probably has their New Year's Eve plan intact and counting down until midnight, and we could be done with 2020 already. But wanted to toss it over to you. Do you have anything to say to the Voorhees fans, the Voorhees family, alum, players for the new year?
Players, get ready. January 4th is right around the corner. We know what we got to do. But to the Voorhees alumni, faculty who may be on or anybody who is behind this Voorhees program, just want to hopefully you realize that you were able to reconnect, because I think that's what 2020 was about. Yes, we had a lot of ups and downs in 2020, but I think 2020 was a way for us to reconnect with ourselves. And if you're able to do that, then we can go into 2021 with a new mindset of growth, a new mindset of getting better. We talk about that 1% better every day. That's what 2021 should be about. Being 1% better every day in everything that you're trying to do. And that's what we're going to do at Voorhees, on and off the basketball court. So really excited about what 2021 has to offer. Not so much for myself, but for these guys that I have the ability to coach, because they're raring to go. I wish people understood how excited these guys are, how hungry they are, how ready they are to get on the court, and show that Tiger pride and show the Tiger vision that we've been talking about.
For sure. Coach, as we get ready to sign off, I'll just say I want to thank the entire Voorhees family, the alumni, everybody who listens and watches the show, for every like, every retweet, every subscription. They all matter, and they all help us do what we do to connect that base. So thank you for being so welcoming, the warm words, the encouraging words that we hear about the show. We get those. We appreciate it. It keeps us going for sure. So thank you. Thank all of you guys for supporting this show every week. Also to the players, hey man, get like Coach said, get ready. I won't spill the beans too much, but I will say this. You'll probably work harder than you've ever worked before, but you'll probably be better than you've ever been. And I've seen that do amazing things for kids' confidence, for their self-esteem, just how you feel, right? You guys have been inside all of this time. For 2020, you get to go play the game that you love, and you get to go play that game in a style that's a lot of fun. It's challenging, it's hard, but it's also a lot of fun. So enjoy every minute of it. Enjoy being tired. Enjoy being out there with the teammates. Don't necessarily think about shots that are going in and not going in, but just work hard, man, and embrace it and enjoy every minute that you get a chance to play the game that you love is important. So
now don't remember, you're supposed to be down there when we get back now.
I'm trying to make that trip. I want to come down that first week, hopefully for the first scrimmage.
Okay.
That's my goal. So
and let me say this, this has been a pleasure having this podcast, this coach's podcast. But you also got to understand that we have a radio station that's right next to our gym that broadcasts our games every time at home. Like, so if there were multiple ways, alumni, people that just want to keep in touch with the Voorhees program, you have multiple ways to be able to watch us, to be able to support us this year. Make sure you do that. I know right now with COVID, it may not be a lot of people in the gym, if any. We don't know yet. But you'll be able to definitely watch us, and that schedule is going to go up. I wanted to make sure we put it out here first on the Coaches Podcast, but as soon as that now that it's out, you guys will have it too. It'll be on all our social medias.
For sure. And Tori, I'm with you. The Allen game is gonna be lit. I'm with you for sure. Carver, we're gonna turn Carver out. Carver, I issue this challenge. We're gonna try to make that a Voorhees home game. I'm gonna have my Voorhees gear by then. I'm showing up in. Sorry, Carver. I'm showing up in all Voorhees gear. We're trying to turn that into a Voorhees home game, and maybe every year. And let's make that game a lot of fun. Let's make that. Well, we're looking forward to it. Coach, I can't wait to see you guys on the floor. I can't wait to see all of that blue. And the only time, mind you, that I'll be cheering for a team.
I know.
So, but definitely looking forward to it. Happy that these guys, for your guys, most of all, getting a chance to play the game, and getting a chance to play in an environment that is safe to do so, or at least as safe as it can possibly be.
Right.
That's hugely important. Can't be overstated. So I'm extremely happy for them and everybody trying to do it in a good conscience. So, guys, that's 2020. Enjoy, be safe, take it easy, but enjoy your family. Go hug somebody. Go tell them you love them. 2020 is almost over. We are about 5 hours away from bringing in 2021. So I hope everybody's safe and in good health. And we'll see you next year, technically, right?
Let's go.
We're out.